Hello and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, what I like to do is to create videos that I would have found helpful when I first got out looking for treasure. That is to say, things like gold, silver, jewelry at thrift shops, garage sales, and so forth. Today, I've found a few things at the thrift shop. This is over the last 2 days, and I just got back from an antique store, and I got something that we need to have a look at. I don't know what other kinds of treasures people like. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and talk about a few things that I tend to grab other things too when I'm out and about if they're cheap. Things that are fun, like this particular spoon, which we'll start with. It amused me because of Petty the jeweler. Now, I think it's plate, and you can see where we have two different colors here. And part of why I wanted to grab it is I wanted to show a good example of where you can see that something is plate, even though underneath it's probably nickel silver, which is why it actually looks pretty silvery, despite it actually being worn off. But you can see there, and then you can also see up here and here where we have wear of our plate. And that's one of the things that can happen sometimes when you're out and about looking at these spoons and silverware, is that something will look really dang good, and it'll even have a pretty nice looking stamp. That's a pretty dang good looking stamp, to be honest, but it still is not silver. And you might find, and you'll see when I do like coin silver videos, that there is stuff that isn't marked as sterling, that is still at least 90% silver, but also really look close. In this case, I only paid 50 cents for the spoon, so I was very happy with it as an example. And Petty the jeweler amused me. I think this was maybe an outfit down in Colorado, possibly Colorado Springs. Found a couple references to Petty the jeweler there, and I think that might be what this is. Maybe some sort of giveaway that they were doing. So I don't necessarily always just pick up silver or gold when I find it. Now, I do pick up silver. And I do pick up, hopefully, gold, which is what's going to be in this video. But I also like to grab things like this, which are just really cool. Little automatic rule. Avoid snapback. Defiance by Stanley. Number 1260, 6 feet. And it's a little measuring tape. I actually probably get to carry this one. Sometimes when you're out looking at a piece of furniture, it's nice to have a measuring tape around. It'll probably stay in my car because I don't really look for furniture very much. But I think that is treasure. Sort of like this, when you find, and that was $1. I'll find a nice pocket knife. And I'm not sure how much of my audience is into pocket knives. I have found it difficult to actually, how should I put it, get into pocket knives, just because it's kind of a difficult thing to learn for me, because I don't learn very well unless I can actually like pick up and hold things. But this particular one I bought because you can see how you've got all these lines on it. It's definitely been cleaned up. Somebody did a lot of sanding on it. It was probably pretty rusty at one point. But I found it interesting. I need to look up Voos, Voos, see what that is. And whoever cleaned it up wasn't really caring about originality, but man, this thing is razor sharp. So for $2, it should make a good pocket knife. And I really like this, what they call jigged bone, which is actually old cow bone, and then they would carve that pattern into it. And I think for a material, it's just a very cool thing. And then in this case, they would stain it. I don't know if there's anything that they make in terms of jewelry out of jigged bone, but part of what I wanted to add it was I was curious if anyone sees jigged bone in jewelry, because it is a very interesting looking material, and I've always quite liked it. But maybe some of you folks are into pocket knives too, and you can tell me a little bit about this one. Sometimes I'll even pick up books. Well, most of the books I pick up are like local history. This one just tickled my fancy because it's What's Cooking on Governor's Island, and I found it cute with this little bear cooking, and then he tried them all. But this is old recipes from, if I go to the front here, you'll see 1949 is the second edition. And it is about Governor's Island, which I believe is or was a military base that's been there for a long time. But I thought some of these might be fun, in particular, maybe not so much the desserts, trying to avoid the sugar, but what I was curious about was that a lot of these old recipes had stroganoff, and I keep finding like a million different beef stroganoff recipes, and my family likes it, but I haven't quite hit on the right recipe, so I thought this one might be fun. But yeah, so I do grab some things that are not necessarily like what you're looking at right now, sterling and hopefully gold. These are fun to pick up. This is cut glass. It's just, or maybe is that crystal? I assume these are cut glass, but there's a little bit of sterling there. You can see this is weighted sterling. Not a huge amount. I have a series of videos you can look up where I actually disassemble some of these things that are in bad shape, but this one's in good shape. So for $3.50, I know I got at least $3.50 worth of sterling. You know, that's 3.5 grams, and I'm sure I got at least 5, maybe as many as 10 grams of silver in there. So I feel like that's a good buy, and it's always fun to have another place to put flowers. Now, one of my big finds was this, and the reason I actually made this video and why I included a few extra things was because I want to wash this, but I wanted to show you a couple things about it before I did wash it. And when I found this, I saw it sitting like this, and I thought, oh, that looks really good. And the reason I thought it looked really good was because you've got nice workmanship. These are all very even. We're not looking at any kind of problems with our surface. It's just filthy and needs a good polish. I'm not seeing anything green. And then I flipped it over and I thought, oh man, look at all that verdigris. This thing's rusty, or it's kind of got a greenish, in that light it had kind of a greenish tone. But, you know, always check the mark, because there you go, sterling. And it was half off day for kitchen, so this was $7.50. And it weighs in at 209 grams for all you stackers. So that was $7.50 for about, $200 worth of silver. Can't complain about that. But more importantly, now that I've made a video of it for you and showed you that really bad, really ugly, gross stuff can often cause stores to overlook that something is actually valuable. Most of the really good sterling finds I've ever found were in some way or another utterly filthy. I think maybe the dirtiest piece I ever found was, this one. I still haven't figured out how to get some of this stuff off of it. This is a baby cup for, Gordon Wesley Fawcett III, which I think was in the family of the publishers of the comic books. You might have heard of the Shazam. That was one of their, Captain Marvel was one of their characters, and that was this family. But this particular baby cup was in an old barn at in town here at a estate sale, and I'm not sure what's going on with some of this stuff. It looks like it's actually loosening up a little bit. I should scrape it off. But it was being used for chicken feed. So this had been hanging above the bag where there was a chicken feed, and they were feeding chickens with it, despite it being sterling. And you know what? I don't know what it weighs, but I have a scale here, and I did pay them a quarter for this. Let's see what it weighs for our chicken feeder. 147. So, you know, 145 bucks worth of silver for feeding the chickens. Anyway, let's us continue. I was very excited to find that for obvious reasons, I think. But let's go to the star of the show. I found this today in a antique store, and I have not tested it yet. So this was $10, and I thought it was worth the gamble. Now, the reason I thought it was worth the gamble was that it's got a little heft to it, and it looks really, really good. It doesn't look like there's gold plate going on with it. You see how we don't have any kind of anything coming up? We have a little bit of tarnish, which I thought, well, maybe it's a low carat. And I have some markings here. Now, I'm not sure exactly what the markings are. It looks like maybe 14K or 18K, something K, and then possibly Merrick. But when I looked real close at it, I didn't see any signs that the punch had brought up any base metals. And it does have a little tarnish on it, so I thought, well, worst comes to worst, this is maybe silver. It's maybe silver with gold over the top of it. But I thought what we would do is we would test it to see if we really scored on a piece of gold, which is possible. A lot of these pins are out there, and I found these as gold before. They've always gone to my wife's grandmother, who adores them. So I don't have any of those to show you right now. But they are definitely a thing to keep an eye out for. Now, obviously, a lot of them are not gold. And one of the things you want to see is it going to react to a magnet? This one doesn't react to a magnet at all. And it has the markings on it. So, yeah. Let me grab let's grab a glove here. And we will do a little testing. All right, let's see. I guess we might as well just go with the backside of one of these leaves, huh? Sorry if we're jumping around a little bit. I still have a lot of stuff down in my lungs, and I don't want to blast you out when I cough. All right. I'm excited. There we go. All right. Let us grab, let's just start with 10K, huh? Nope. Looks like we are possibly plated there. Now the question is it silver? Let's use a little bit. We have in here some silver test. So the reason we know this isn't gold is because it is going right away there. There's 14, 10, 18, 22. Let's see what our silver test solution does, huh? Okay, just let that sit there for a sec. And we will grab a little bit of a paper towel. Let it eat that. Now, if it shows up as red, then it should mean that we have maybe gold-plated silver here. So let's see. Getting any red? Nope. So I think what we've got here is we bought a very shiny piece of brass. So Did very well on the silver. Did nice on the shiny brass, but not what we were hoping. So I'm not sure what those marks actually indicate. We may do one more test here. We got a lot of really good feedback after I did my last testing video about the testing of the silver. And one of the things they said was to really get down in there. So we're going to scrape this one a whole bunch and see if we can... where should we do it? I don't want to ruin this. We'll do it right there. Make sure you get a bunch on there is what they said. There we go. Looks like a bunch. Doesn't seem to hurt the jewelry much. And we will give this silver solution one more try. All right, I paused it there for a moment, so it's had lots of time to do its thing. Soak that all up. We'll see if we got any kind of red here. Does not look like it. So I don't think that we have silver either. So I think I spent 10 bucks on a brass pin, which is okay. You win some and you lose some. I hope this information has been useful to you. If you enjoyed the video, please hit that like button, subscribe, and leave a comment. If you think there's anything I did wrong with the testing, just let me know. And I'm not sure what's going on with this marking now. I don't know if I can show it. Okay. Maybe it's K and I. I don't know. AMERIK. If any of you jewelry people can tell me what that is, please leave a comment. I would love to know. I hope you have a great day.
Like this, I've been Thomas.